Yes, that magical time of year. You know the one. It's when we all collectively decide that reality just isn't confusing enough, so we're going to change what time it is. Twice. It's this beautiful, time-honored tradition of mandated jet lag and just staring at your oven clock, wondering if it'll ever be correct again.
But I mean, seriously, what is actually wrong with us? Who signed us up for this global sleep deprivation pact? It's the question that just haunts us every spring and fall, usually right after we figure out which of our clocks are smart and which ones are now actively lying to us. All right, let's go down this rabbit hole of terrible ideas and see just where it leads.
So, to understand this biannual madness, we have to go back in time. But not by an hour. No, think more like a couple of centuries. And just a little spoiler alert here, almost everything you think you know about why we do this is, well, it's a lie.
Okay, let's start with the guy that everyone blames, Benjamin Franklin. Except, here's the thing, he never actually proposed daylight saving time. What he did was write a satirical essay suggesting Parisians wake up earlier. His brilliant solutions? Firing cannons in the street and taxing window shutters. It was a joke, people, a joke that somehow, some way, became policy.
The real story is, believe it or not, even weirder. It all kicks off in 1895 with an entomologist, a bug collector in New Zealand who just wanted more evening light for his hobby. I am not kidding. Then, in 1916, wartime Germany digs up the idea to save coal. The US jumps on board in 1918, but people hated it so much that it was repealed just 1 year later. A truly brilliant start, wasn't it?
But of course, the story we all hear is that folksy little tale about helping the farmers. It sounds so nice, doesn't it? Such a wholesome, agrarian reason for our collective suffering. It is also completely 100% false.
In reality, farmers despised it from day one. You see, cows don't care what a clock says. They need to be milked when they need to be milked. The sun, not some government mandate, dictates their schedule. In fact, farmers were the most powerful lobby against daylight saving, and they're the main reason it got tossed out right after World War I.
So if the history is a total farce, what about the effects today? Well, this is where the joke really stops being funny. This isn't just a minor inconvenience. This biannual time heist has a literal body count and a massive, massive price tag.
So your body runs on this internal clock. It's called a circadian rhythm. It's been fine-tuned over millennia of evolution. Daylight saving time is like taking a giant wrench to the gears of that clock. Scientists call the result social jet lag, which is just a polite way of saying we're forcing our entire population into a state of chronic disorientation. It's like having that Monday morning feeling, but for your entire biology.
And here are the consequences of that. That lost hour of sleep in the spring, it's not just annoying. On the Monday after we spring forward, hospitals see a 24% jump in heart attacks. But hey, wait, there's more. In the 2 days right after both the spring and the fall clock changes, stroke rates climb by 8%. Turns out our bodies really don't like being lied to about what time it is. Who knew?
And hey, if you manage to avoid a heart attack or a stroke, you still have to get in your car. That same week sees a 6% increase in fatal traffic accidents. We are literally sacrificing lives for what exactly? More evening light for bug collecting?
And when you add it all up, the financial cost of this whole ritual is just staggering. One analysis puts the annual price tag in the US alone at over $670 million. That is money we are literally throwing away, all because we can't agree to just leave the clocks alone.
So with this mountain of evidence, you think this would be a universally beloved and adopted practice, right? Of course not, because that would make far too much sense. Let's take a look at the global picture.
And this, right here, really frames the whole debate. 2/3 of the world's countries have already opted out. They just stopped doing it. Most of Asia, Africa, and South America have looked at this century-long experiment and collectively said, you know what? No thanks. We prefer sanity.
And for the few countries who are still in this mess, it is pure chaos. There is no global standard. So for example, in 2026, the US changes its clocks in early March, but the EU waits until the end of the month. Meanwhile, Australia and Chile are off on their own schedules entirely. It's a complete logistical nightmare for anyone trying to do business internationally.
Forget the world. The United States can't even agree with itself. If you live in Hawaii or, most of Arizona, congratulations, you have escaped the madness. And the same goes for U.S. territories like Puerto Rico and Guam. They simply refuse to play this pointless game twice a year. And this brings us to the final and, frankly, most infuriating chapter of this whole story. Public polls show that nearly everyone wants to stop changing the clocks. So why don't we? Well, because we've entered the final boss level of absurdity, political gridlock.
So the fight basically boils down to this. You've got Team Permanent Daylight Time, which is backed by retail and tourism lobbies who want more light in the evening for shopping. And then you have Team Permanent Standard Time, backed by pretty much every single scientist and doctor, who argue it's what our bodies are naturally designed for. So, commerce versus health. Care to guess who usually wins that fight?
And the result of that fight? It's a legislative graveyard. State after state introduces bills to end the madness. And year after year, those bills just die quiet deaths in some committee. They'll get passed in one chamber, but not the other. Or they get passed, but they require a stamp of approval from Congress that just never comes.
And so, here we are, stuck. We have a solution that almost everybody wants, that saves lives, saves money, and is backed by science, but because we can't decide which way to stop the insanity just continues, by default.
So as you get ready to stumble around your house in a state of confusion, messing with your microwave clock and trying to explain to your dog why breakfast is suddenly late, maybe just ask yourself, isn't it about time we finally ended this ridiculous, dangerous, and completely pointless ritual?